Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Wednesday, August the 21st. We'll start off with the Canucks news. Normally, I don't talk about goalie coaching moves and things of that nature, but when it's a bit of a surprise, sure. And in Vancouver, it is a surprise that Ian Clark has stepped aside as the goalie coach. Now, he's seen as one of the better goalie coaches in the National Hockey League, but what Patrick Alvin's saying is that he can't do the things that he needs to do on the daily. And Ian Clark's, depending on where you look, he's 60 or 61 years of age. And yeah, it makes some sense that he can't do some of the things that he could do before. And so what the Canucks have done is they've promoted Marco Terrenius from Abbotsford to Vancouver. I think this could be a benefit too, because obviously Marco will be instructing goalies very similar to the way that Ian Clark had been, and also he knows Shelovs. So since he already knows Artur Shelovs pretty well, this could work out well for a Vancouver team that has some uncertainty when it comes to the goaltending position, which also is going to magnify this, right? Because we don't know what Demko's status is. We know he could very well be in a position where he's not ready to go to start the season. Canuck fans might be a little more panicky than normal, and so seeing the goalie coach stepping out of that position, he is taking a job in the scouting development department, and so it's a bit less of a role for Ian Clark, but it sounds like that's what's best for him at this point. Probably best for the Canucks as well, and all the best to Marco on stepping into a pretty high pressure role at an interesting time to step into it, because again, right now Vancouver's goaltending tandem would likely be Shelovs and Patera, and this is a team that's expected to be pretty good in the playoffs. They're supposed to get to the playoffs as well, so yeah, there's some pressure there. I think this is the most pressure the Canucks have had on them for about a decade, so we'll see how things go this season, but now there's been a shakeup in the goalie coaching position. And again, I'm just going to be positive about it and say, you know what, the guy coming up from Abbotsford should already know all the systems and training and everything. It should be just fine. It should be relatively seamless. The Philadelphia Flyers, hoping for a seamless transition away from Ryan Johansen's contract with their move to terminate it. He did clear waivers today, so nobody picked up that contract as expected. Now there's 60 days ahead for Johansen to officially file an appeal of that termination and to fight it, basically challenge it. And in all likelihood, there'll be some kind of cash settlement. That cash settlement does go on to the salary cap, but it's not going to be 8 million, at least in all likelihood. But it'll be interesting to see how this process plays out. How the Flyers argue that the contract termination was the right move, because I've seen a lot online saying this seems kind of a little bit sketchy. Agreed. I will be interested to see what the reasoning is behind terminating the contract at this point as we're getting close to training camp, and knowing again that the team wanted to trade for his contract and then buy it out, and then they couldn't because of his injury. So we'll see how things go from here. But Johansen officially looking at a contract termination today, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Cole Sillinger has signed an extension with the Columbus Blue Jackets, thus the Columbus Garb. It's a 2-year extension. The cap hit is $2.25 million per season. Sillinger is a good forward. He can play, I think, better than what we've seen the last couple of years. I think his points totals could go up. I think with the right coaching and the right encouragement, I think Sillinger can become an excellent two-way forward. So we'll see how Columbus handles it from here. But Don Waddell continues as he's traded out Laine. Now he's signed Sillinger. You've got some idea of how much money you've got there, and it's something that Columbus has that other teams don't right now, and so we'll see how they handle it. Tanner Pearson gets a tryout from the Vegas Golden Knights. Pearson has had a rough go of it the last few years with injuries, but he is a talented forward when he's healthy and when he's playing well. So we'll see what happens with it for him with Vegas. And again, it does not mean he has a contract. It means he's getting a tryout. So in the event that this tryout doesn't go well for him, Vegas will quietly release him. And from there, Pearson would likely be looking at, signing. Maybe he signs overseas. Maybe he signs an AHL deal. But usually if you don't make the NHL team on that tryout, you end up playing elsewhere, unless you opt for retirement. So we'll see where Pearson's head is at in the event that he doesn't make it onto the Vegas roster. But Vegas could definitely use another veteran forward, so we'll see how that goes. Dallas moving away from Bally's, and they're not the only one. There are a lot of NHL franchises that have been on the Bally Sports Networks that will not. Dallas will not. So if you want to watch the games locally, if you're a Dallas fan, again, locally, the Victory Plus TV app will be downloadable on September the 11th, and that will be the way that you can watch Stars games. So we'll see how this goes for Dallas. Again, the way that we consume sports, media, TV shows, everything has changed over the years. It's something I've talked about on the Entertainment Guy channel a few times, and this is just another reflection of that. That the way that we consume sports, regional sports networks, very likely to go by the wayside for the most part. And so for Dallas fans, if you want to listen to Josh and Razor, you download the Victory Plus app. I think Josh and Razor are one of the better go-to crews in hockey when it comes to announcing, and so it'll be great to hear them on Victory Plus. For fans in Dallas, I'm pretty sure this will only apply to local fans. I remember reporting on this a while ago that you'll be able to listen to all the Dallas games locally, and this is generally the way it's going to work. For local fans, they'll be able to watch the games. So the regular season is 44 days away. That sounds like a lot, but if you're a general manager, that's got to be a signal that now's the time to make changes as need be, or start getting guys in there on tryouts. Don't be surprised when the Canucks sign a couple of guys to tryouts, because I think that's coming as well. I would think a defenseman and a goaltender. Just throwing that out there. But at any rate, the first name that came to mind for me too when I was thinking about goaltenders was, Martin Jones is out there. Jones's numbers are never all that strong, and yet he wins games. So maybe, right? If you think that Demko's going to come back not too far into the season, maybe you bring in a Martin Jones. So I'm just throwing that out there. We'll see what happens. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. If you haven't already hit like and subscribe, please do. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.